What happened at Islamic Center in San Diego is ugly, wrong, and tragic. Innocent lives are lost, and two teenagers thought it was all right to go and murder other human beings. There is no justification for that. Not even one point can be justify that. But what concerned me as much as what happened immediately after these murders, human lives are being lost, people are being murdered, and some people are rushing into assigning blame without evidence. Instead of waiting for facts, Sheikh Uthman jumps in and start naming people, David Wood and others, and claims they are somehow responsible for inspiring this violence.
This is not a Christian country. This is not a Jewish country, and it's not a Muslim country. It's a country that is believed to be open to all faiths, and we have the freedom of religion, we have the freedom of expression, freedom of speech that we have to defend. I really hope that people of good faith, good people of Christian faith, of Jewish faith, of Hindu faith, atheists, agnostics, everybody else will see this incident to be a wake up call to stop the hate, to stop the hate mongering from the likes of Jake Lang, from the likes of David Wood and Apostate and Avery and all these
Loomer.
people who are just spewing. Who are you saying?
And Loomer, Jigsaw.
Yes, for sure. Laura Loomer, all these hate mongerings that are leading to the deaths of innocent people. It's not just people saying things. You're inspiring young teenagers to go carry out acts of violence by calling them to acts of violence.
We've heard the claims that individuals like David Wood, God Logic, Apostate, I think he means Apostate Prophet, and Laura Luma and others are inspiring violence, and they are effectively responsible for what teenagers did. This is not small accusation. This is not commentary. This is moral and potentially legal responsibility being assigned to people without presenting proof of direct cause. The basic question is, where is the evidence? Where is the chain that connects a specific video, a specific statement to a specific act of violence? Because without that, what you are doing is not analyzing. It is simply you are trying to spread your own agenda. You know better than me. This kind of rhetoric always follows the same pattern, right? Tragedy happens, there is always people who wants to get fame from that tragedy or who wants to make money from that tragedy. Emotions rises, and then suddenly ideological opponents are blamed as if they are the one who pulled the trigger themselves. And that is not justice, that is projection. And what is even more dangerous is how quickly people start speaking in absolutes as entire story is already been known. Think about that. Sheikh Uthman is using this to simply silence the critics of Islam, to simply put the life of those critics in danger. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. Think about it. Today, if I say, I wouldn't be surprised if I hear in coming weeks after all that investigation goes on, if we hear that these teenagers who murdered 3 people were somehow involved in that Islamic society, maybe someone from that Islamic center broke their parents' relationship, and then the wife become a wife to someone else in that Islamic center. We know there are individuals who simply steal other people's wife. We know about these secret marriages takes place, right? I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of weeks that we hear that someone from that Islamic center tried to harm those teenagers. And the other thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear in coming weeks as the investigation closes that these teenagers come across with the articles that was pointing out from that Islamic center 2 individuals were actively involved murdering of almost 3,000 people in 9/11. Of course, right now Muslims are very busy and media is very busy. Muslims are trying to play professional victim card, as well as media is helping and then putting more cards in the hands of Muslims so that they can play professional victim card. Therefore, we cannot even touch those things, right? So we have to wait and then see how the investigation concludes. Yet we are also aware what history shows us when such a thing happens, right? Misinformation, polarization, and sometimes even retaliation against innocent people, which it is not difficult to imagine something Sheikh Uthman is doing by using the death of his brothers. Bottom line is this actually. If someone is responsible, all you need to do is prove it. If there is a connection, all you need to do is simply demonstrate it. If there isn't, then we are not dealing with the truth. We are simply dealing with the accusations covered up as moral outrage. And then think about it. Sheikh Uthman is the one who is blaming the critics of Islam for the murdering of 3 people, right? For inciting this violence. And this is the very man who faked hate crime against himself. Should anything coming out from his mouth make us trust him? Well, I find that's very difficult. He's got connections with police, he's got connections with FBI, right? If he's got any evidence, all he needs to do is hand over those evidence that these 2 teenagers were following critics of Islam for a long time. Those are the statements that they were inspired and then they act on it. He's got those connections. That shouldn't be very difficult to hand over the evidence. I am also concerned about another layer that it seems Americans don't want to talk about it. Within last couple of years, how many horrific crimes we heard that has been done by teenagers? Quite a lot, right? And not only teenagers committed horrific violence, but then they turned the violence inwards as well. That reveals something deeper than politics or commentary. It reveals moral collapse, despair, distorted thinking, a brokenness that cannot be explained away by pointing fingers at public figures. Seems that next generation in America is having distorted thinking, and America needs to face that and do something about it. I think it's important. I know Muslims don't have such a skills, but I would expect any human beings to have such a skill as being consistent. Violence against innocent people is always wrong. I know followers of Islam is not going to sign up for that, but human beings, if they believe they are human beings, they should be able to sign up for that. Violence against innocent people is always and always wrong. And so is build guilt by association without any evidence. If you care about the truth, if you care about your Muslim brothers and sisters, you cannot afford emotional storytelling without facts are missing. Because once you start doing that, once blame becomes speculation, then nobody is safe from being accused of anything. And that is not just, that is simply mess.